how many of you here are actually already involved in or have come along to the transition, any of the transition meetings? So, oh, most of you. Okay, so we finished that. Don't be so, yeah. So that means that I am technically preaching to the converted. Now, it's during the last few years, it's become very, very apparent to me that although people say, oh, you mustn't preach to the converted, that's not true. I think the converted, very, very often, not you, I'm generalising, got stuck 5 years ago with low energy light bulbs and have done very little since. The amount of people who I meet who say, oh, I'm already quite green, I've got low energy light bulbs, recycled blue rolls, and I try and recycle as much as I can. And then a couple of them say, oh, and I compost a bit. So I think, each time I think, gosh, well, I wonder, I mean, I've been to people's homes, members of very, very green organisations who still have Andrex in their door, and I thought, oh my gosh, how did I get to the stage where instead of thinking, oh, they've got Andrex, I think, oh, they've got Andrex. I've evolved, and as I have learned, and I do learn an awful lot, I've just been in a very lucky position, because I meet a lot of people, I get out and listen to some amazing speakers and experts in their fields, and it all fills in up here, and what I've decided to do, this is just my response, it's what I say is not necessarily the right way, but I've decided that the best thing I can do is to regurgitate all that and sort of pass on as much as I have learned to as many people as possible. And although I was aiming at first very much to people who feel that green is not for them, and they would be people who very often say, oh, green is for middle class people or it's for hippies. And of course it's not, it is for middle class people and hippies, but it's also for everybody in between and on that side as well. And it's the people outside the sort of middle class hippie bit that I thought I really wanted to try and reach. And my main aim in trying to reach people who are not yet converted is to try and show them that being green is not scary, that it's easy, it can be an awful lot of fun, it's inspiring, it's empowering, it's healthy, and it doesn't need to be expensive. So I'm sort of trying to get away from, or get people just shifted a little bit from the fact that they think that green is all about wind turbines, solar PV and organic food boxes, because of course there's so much more. And I've set up a charity called The Big Green Idea, and it's sort of, a lot of the things I do, in the back of my mind, I feel I'm doing not primarily to support the transition movement, but what I'm doing does support the transition movement, because I try to raise the profile of green and sustainable and ethical living. And for me, the green umbrella is not just about the environment, it's about human rights and animal welfare and ecology. So taking that out to people and trying to ascertain, suppose all of you came, I've got a double-decker bus. This is my sort of window for the charity, is a double-decker bus, and I know buses are nasty, big polluting things, and I was talking to someone earlier saying that I'm in a huge dilemma at the moment because the engine blew up on its first outing last year. So I've spent the winter raising funds, and I've raised another £5,000, and we've got this brand spanking new Gardner green spec engine, low emission. It's no good, it's still no good. I still need to be able to find a way to run it on biodiesel, part biodiesel, or waste vegetable oil. And I've got people on this side saying, you can't do that, I've just spent £5,000 and you've got a guarantee and it'll be void. And people, Ginny and I went to see The Age of Stupid last night, and on the way I was saying, I've got to do something about this engine. And on the way out I said, I've got to do something about this engine. So I sort of said, that's the bus. And the bus is, in itself, I've tried everything on the bus. It's been refitted in Hereford, and it uses beautiful, beautiful local Herefordshire wood. So all the units, I've tried to showcase different woods from Herefordshire and Worcestershire. All the drawers in it are made out of willow from the counties around here. The IT section, if you surf the web, you do it on a surfboard, an old wooden surfboard that somebody donated. It's all made out of just basically sustainable materials or recycled materials, and the walls are painted in eco-paint. So if someone came on, it would be a little bit like coming into a house. And I'd say, look, these walls are painted with this, that and the other paint. The floors I show people cork, and when I show people cork, I talk about how sustainable cork is and how important it is that we try to support the cork industry so that we can help with the biodiversity problems in the incredible cork oak forests in Portugal and other places in Europe. So everything on the bus is look, what's this about? Let's have a conversation about this. And sooner or later, people, if they come on a bit like this, they forget very, very quickly, because the bus is it's not corporate looking, and it's not doesn't look like hippies are coming to town. It's sort of a little bit between. It's actually, I'd say, arts and crafts. It's beautiful. It's painted with Osmo paints outside, and it's got hand-painted ivy growing up that a lady in Herefordshire painted all over it. We've taken most of the windows out upstairs because on its very first journey a tree broke them. So now we've got old recycled aeroplane windows, you know, the sort that open and shut and they look like eyes. What else? I'm raising funds to put a solar power cinema upstairs at the moment so we can show all of these amazing films. Old recycled velvet thick theatre curtains to black it out upstairs. And a library. I'm going to come on to that because books have been huge for me. I know different people respond to different types of input, whether it's you know, audio, visual, or for me it's absolutely books, because I can sit and I can read. You know, I think I'm going to read a book, and I've got to get into chapter 2, sentence 3, and it just blows me away. And I spend the rest of the night sort of sitting there thinking, wow, implications of that, and I change my life the next day. Books, I find that the right books can be life-changing. So all of the books that I have found life-changing, or other people have found life-changing, I put in this little library on the bus, and you can sit down on hemp-covered seats to read. I've got some hemp to show you. And then I fill it with, although this stuff is not good stuff, I don't know, there's an incredible film called The Story of Stuff. So the stuff that I brought along this evening and the stuff that I keep on the bus, I try really to keep to the sort of stuff that could make a difference, and that could be at very least thought-provoking, but at best it could change the way, just change something in your lives, in your kitchen, your bathroom, the way you use your transport. There's all these different areas. I mean, we already know climate change. Climate change, first thing I try to do is try and demystify, but for people who don't understand the difference between climate change and global warming. And try to, I think people are suffering from, everyone's got a name now, so climate change fatigue is the name that's followed climate change. Talk to people a little bit about climate change, but then get straight off that subject and try and find something that is more interesting. You know, it says, well, have you got a garden? Do you cook? Do you sew? Do you have children who go to school and take lunch boxes? So always looking for something, and this is what I think. If this is something that you could do wherever you go, you could do it in whatever your home environment is, with your friends or with family, schools. You know, I know this girl here does a lot in her school. She talks to people about transition at school, which is quite impressive. So as well as climate change, the other big things that I think climate change is the single most important issue of our time. But also the use of resources, and this is where transition, of course, is trying to tackle the two together.